Yes, sir. That was Zay with Amen. You're listening to Brook. I'm still thinking it's the last show. You're listening to Ben Talks right here live on Radio Free Brooklyn with your boy, the best in the world, Ben Lewis, alongside Addy the Baddie.
Hello.
Don't do that.
Me
Don't do
again.
that. I don't want to have to cut your mic off.
So mean.
No, and we are back with our trending topics.
Trending.
Yes, sir. Everything going down.
If we had some theme
in
music,
the
we'd
culture.
insert it here.
Well, we got theme music playing underneath it right now. You know what I'm saying? So Addy, you can start us off with what we got here.
Okay, so this one's interesting.
Yes, very.
And so basically, the FCC is basically looking into payola investigations after reports of problematic conduct. So
is that so?
There's some terms to break down here.
Yes.
So payola is the street term for getting paid for services under the table.
Yep.
So the Recording Industry Association of America has been asked to investigate quote unquote possible violations of federal laws and regulations that expressly prohibit payola.
Yep.
The request was detailed in a letter from the Federal Communications Commission's commissioner, Mike O'Reilly, who addressed this concern to RIAA CEO and chairman Mitch Glazier.
Yep.
O'Reilly cited recent reports from the radio industry as having raised concerns regarding possible payola. Quote unquote, to the extent that payola is currently occurring within the industry, I'm writing to ask for your help in ensuring that the practice be discontinued. O'Reilly said, while some have asserted that current payola restrictions violate the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, the Commission is obligated to comply with the governing statute until instructed otherwise by the courts or by Congress. Okay, so yeah, I just remember this whole idea of payola being brought up. I remember Nicki Minaj bringing it up a lot.
Yep.
And so I don't know if she was the one who sparked it, but basically, you know, I remember back, was it last year, when there was some type of beef with like Nicki Minaj and DJ Self.
Yeah.
Or maybe she said something about him during an interview. I don't remember. But I think that I remember DJ Envy was kind of like, oh, we're not playing her music anymore.
Yeah, DJ Envy did ban her from at least the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
If DJ Envy doesn't have enough juice to tell the entire Power 105 to not play Nicki Minaj music. Right. Because quite frankly, that would throw their whole algorithm out of whack.
Yeah.
You know, Nicki Minaj is one of those voices that, you know, whenever she's on the track, you want to get that. Like Nicki Minaj is on Z100. Like that's how influential she is. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like to ban her from the entire station, no. DJ Envy definitely doesn't have that kind of juice. No. But she was definitely banned from the Breakfast Club for a long time. Right. Yeah. And I remember in that same kind of like rant she had at the time, she had expressed, you know, that she wasn't surprised by this move because she said that like there was a lot of payola in the industry in terms of I'm not surprised by it either.
Yeah, getting artists to the forefront. Yeah. You know, money exchanging hands between major labels and radio personalities who have the pull or the leverage to get those artists in those positions of power, influence, or streams. Yeah. And so and she was really referencing Cardi B and Cardi B's rise and implying that some part of Cardi B's success had to do with that. But also making a larger point about how this all operates in the industry, and saying that on the other hand, she's had to work for everything she's had. So that I remember that was the first time I heard about this whole payola thing. So what are your thoughts?
Well, payola is something like, and I really learned what payola was when I decided I was gonna go to school and kind of become like official like with the radio thing. And so I definitely believe that this is going on at major radio stations because I am dealing with a lot of artists. I am, you know, I'm always talking to these artists, and I'm not gonna put anybody's name out there, obviously, but like guys tell me like, oh, I gotta bring a bag of money to this station, and I gotta bring some money to that station so that I could get my this certain single played during this guy's mix. So payola is definitely something that's going on. Now, I myself, I refuse to take any type of money, any amount of money. I don't care if it's life changing, $1 million. I will shed a tear while I tell you no. because like I am not going to take part in this because I don't want to be bought, so to speak. And a lot of these DJs, a lot of these personalities, a lot of these radio stations allow themselves to be bought. Yeah. They allow a record label to come to them with a bag full of money and say, hey, put this single into your rotation. Right. Put this into your mix. You know what I'm saying? A lot of DJs take money for that.
And the hard part too, though, is that like, you know, these people have a lot of power. Yeah. So it's like, even if you chose not to take it, like I can imagine that there could be some potential consequences there too, in terms of like maybe this person knowing the person who owns the actual radio station, who might have the leverage to like end your career, you know, stuff like that. Kind of like, I wonder like, how much that factors.
Right. Like, for example, like if you or I refuse to take some money from a certain artist, if we're, let's say we're at a Power 105 or Hot 97, right? And we decide we're not going to take money, but the program director decides he's going to take money. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's this payola on several like different levels. And there is a lot of suspicion. Like Cardi B is with Atlantic, right? There's a lot of suspicion. Just to go back to what you mentioned before, how Nicki Minaj kind of hinted that part of Cardi B's success is because of payola. Our Atlantic artists are all over the radio. Are all the records necessarily hot that it gets to the radio? No. But somehow it always gets there. And you could kind of see, or you could kind of notice that like certain people with certain labels kind of get pushed more so than others.
Well, one person I could say this for sure about, allegedly I have to say, but Taylor Swift, that one is questionable to me. Because I don't hear anybody singing along to nobody's Taylor Swift song. Like, I mean, I hear people like singing Ariana Grande. Like, I'm not even, you know, like I understand that white people have a huge share of the market, but the way that her music be climbing them charts, climbing them streams, I'm like, I don't hear it anywhere. Yeah. But yet, you know, she's getting access to all of these channels and whatnot because she is an investment and a very expensive investment. So,
and let's be real, like any type of rule, right, that is made for people to not be able to take money under the table, just give it some time and people will find a loophole. People will find a way around it. People will find a way to kind of circumvent the rule so that they can still collect money and kind of do what they were doing before. So with the FCC kind of trying to investigate this situation right now, it may stop, but it's only going to stop for a matter of time. It's not going to stop forever. It's going to stop until somebody figures out a way to get some more money under the table without anyone knowing.
Exactly.
In order for them. There's no real way to stop it. What they're going to do
is they're going to make an example out of somebody.
Yeah.
They're going to make an example out of. That person is going to be the person who has the least to actually offer.
Yeah, and let me tell, let me send a message to. There's a lot of internet stations. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people out there that have some type of live broadcast, and they are talking about, oh, we got these packages, pay this amount, and get your record in rotation. Listen, that's payola. Yep. Stop it. All right. Don't take a bag full of money and end up having to play a really shitty record. And that's the biggest reason I don't take money, because if I take a bag of money, let's say, for example, from you, right? Well, and the record, if I take a bag of money from an artist and the record is trash, because I have accepted that money, I now have to back that record. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I don't want to take money for promotional packages to get your record played. Like, if you send me a record and it's trash, it's not gonna get played on Radio Free Brooklyn. Straight, period, point blank. Like, it's not gonna get played if it's trash. All right, I have to fuck with the record. I have to think the record is fire. I have a couple people whose ear I really trust that I send these records to, and they tell me like, yo, this is good, this is this, that, and the third. And that's how a record gets played when I'm on air. But there are people that are taking money, and it's payola, and it's wrong, because someone who's not talented may just have a bunch of money to spend on a record, and they end up getting a spot over a very talented, very deserving artist. And the whole thing is just wrong, and I'm glad the FCC is trying to crack down on it.
No, I've heard some really awful things, like on like really awful songs,
right,
that are so bad. Are so bad. Have you ever heard a song that's just like so bad, but it's like playing on the radio all the time?
Yeah, where do I start?
I think I was in a department store and I was like, what? Like, how did this end up? How?
Addy's like, I can definitely write something better than this.
100%. Like, my worst song is better than that.
Right.
And like, it's playing on in the store. So you got placement in a mall? Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
You're getting all these kind of placements and you're not deserving. But it's because maybe you sold drugs. Maybe you just had a bunch of money. Maybe you're a trust fund baby. Like maybe wherever your money's coming from, you might have that over a very talented, very deserving artist. And you could afford to put $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 behind a record to get it on some major stations who are participating in payola. And you're not necessarily deserving of it. I hope the FCC cracks all the way down on this.
Yep.
And I hope that they do make an example out of somebody to scare all the other stations that are taking part in this. Like it's not right. It's not right at all. And it's illegal and people need to stop. Those of you who are like participating in it.
Ben's mad because he ain't getting no money. So,
I don't. My bad. I ain't mean to. I don't want to take money to play people's records on the show. I want to play a record that I think is actually hot.
What'd you do?
And I think that someone is deserving of it.
Yes.
That's why I want to play a record.
Wait, where'd you come out?
What are you looking for?
The one you just closed out of. Did you close it?
Oh,
I just queued it up so I could read it, and you just closed it.
Oh, my bad.
Don't touch things.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Open it again. All right. So 99% of student loans forgiveness applications were rejected.
Another super ridiculous thing.
Again.
Yes.
So basically, I'm just going to explain. So here's the recap. The federal government offers a student loan forgiveness program for public servants. So like teachers, people, I think like in the military might count for this, or like lawyers, like people who like do pro bono work, like in law school and stuff, or whatever, like all that stuff. So anyway, AmeriCorps. So anything that would cover public servants, meaning you don't get paid shit, but you are doing quite the task that everyone else
pretty much.
So student loan borrowers who think they qualify apply. 99% are rejected. Congress creates an expanded student loan forgiveness program. Student loan borrowers who think they qualify for the expanded program apply. 99% are rejected. So how many requests were granted under this expanded student loan forgiveness program? From May 2018 to 2019, only 661 completed requests received a total of $27 million of student loan forgiveness, which is less than 4% of the $700 million that Congress allocated for this expanded program. The department has taken steps to help borrowers better understand the complex eligibility requirements, application process benefits, and other information related to the PSLF and TPSLF programs. Angela Morabito, U.S. Education Department Press Secretary, told NPR, the department agrees with the GAO's recommendations about how to improve the programs. A number of our efforts are already underway. So here's what to do so you don't get rejected. One, work in a qualified public service role.
So you and I are. Wait, you might be in.
No,
I'm out.
No, I'm not in. I'm not in a public service role. No,
what?
I'm not a teacher anymore.
But you still work in education.
But I'm not a public servant.
You're helping teachers. Why is that not design curriculum? Like So how are we gonna learn without a curriculum?
I understand.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
I wouldn't qualify myself as a public servant. I wouldn't.
Well, I qualify myself as a public servant. But I
would qualify myself as a public servant as it pertains to my employment here at Radio Free Brooklyn, because then my boss does not pay me a thing.
Whoa. Why you gotta put that out there? Okay.
Yet I am offering a very public service to the masses.
You just gonna put me under the spot like that, huh?
With my amazing personality, intellect, beauty.
Well, Kevin's making more than all of us, so that's...
Oh, shit, he is. Kevin.
I kid. Kevin's about to play word.
Then number 2, you should have direct and federal student loans. Private student loans are not eligible. So if you have FFEL loans, consolidate them into a direct consolidation loan to qualify.
This is why I'm glad I play football, because I don't know what none of this shit is. Okay.
Right.
I just sat in the coach's office and he was like, yeah, we're going to figure out a way to get you into school. And I was like, okay.
All right. Well, then keep your mouth shut, because there's people listening who want to know.
All right.
Number 3. Enroll in an eligible income-driven repayment plan. Make the majority of your student loan payments under the income-driven repayment plan. But what that means is they're not going to just say, pay like $1,500 a month when you're making $300 a month. Is going to be based on and relative to your income. Meaning, like, if you are making the $300 a month, it'll be like, all right, we'll take 10% of your income versus like what you don't actually have to pay. So make sure that you check that out when you are applying for loans and whatnot and assessing your eligibility. Number 4, you must have applied for public service loan forgiveness and have been rejected. The reason you were rejected, you must have applied for the public service loan forgiveness and have been rejected. The reason you were rejected is that you made at least some of your student loan payments under an ineligible student loan repayment plan. So how do you apply for the temporary expended public service loan forgiveness? 2 steps. You can email the Fed Loan Servicing at TEPSLF at myfedloan.org. And 2, include the same name under which you submitted your public service loan forgiveness application and your date of birth in the email. You can find this information on Forbes, so you can just Google it if you need to read it closely. But I'll get your money back, please.
Yo, they're really not trying to forgive nobody's loans. Like, what is it gonna like? I'm telling you, the bubble, and I keep saying this every time there's a topic related to student loans or student loan debt. That bubble is going to burst, and it is going people our age, like millennials, they're not buying houses.
They don't have shit.
They're not buying houses. They're not having kids. They're not getting married.
For why?
Because of these student loans.
Exactly.
Everything that our parents drilled into our head, you need to go to college so you could do this, that, and the third. It's no. We can't do it because I just graduated from college. You're happy as hell. But the reason that I was crying on the stage was because I need to figure out how to pay this $150,000 debt that I'm in. You know what I'm saying? The average person, I was fortunate enough to play football and not have to, incur that much debt.
Yeah.
So but the average person has $100,000, $200,000 worth of debt. And it's the degree that you graduated with, it's not going to get you that salary.
Nope.
And so you're basically digging yourself out of a hole from the day you get into the workforce to the time you retire.
Yep.
So most people pay off their loans just before they retire. That is craziness.
At least back in the day, you once you're done and you retire, you have Social Security,
right?
And
that shit is disappearing.
A pension, and that shit is gone. So honestly, I don't know why everyone is acting calm. That's why for me, I'm you got to stack up, get your money right.
Right.
My next goal, honestly, this whole housing situation thing for me, just opened up my eyes. I'm getting a home, within the next year.
Yeah.
Within the next year,
own something.
Yeah, I got to get a place.
Two families, what I would suggest, if you could.
I'm definitely gonna get a place that I can rent out for sure.
Oh yeah. I ain't had to tell you that though.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, I might just get it to rent it out, but I just need something. To call my own, because otherwise the displacement is real. But I know that, I heard that the market, like you said, the bubble is going to burst. The market is going to implode. And
I watch MSNBC every day.
Yeah.
Hoping that they say it is a crisis right now, because I think and Hassan Minaj, who's the host of the Patriot Act on Netflix. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Hassan Minaj.
Great show.
But he got to speak in front of Congress just the other day. And the student loan debt is in the trillions. Yeah. In the trillions, college tuition has risen 500%. So the people that's making decisions on how we get to pay these loans back and who gets to be forgiven, they paid $1,000 a semester when they were in college. These are people who graduated in the 1960s and the 1970s when college was nothing. College tuition has risen 500% from the people who are making the decisions on whether or not we get to pay it back to now. 500%. That is astronomical. And it's
terrible and
crazy.
There's these. I remember reading this article about how the baby boomers might be sociopaths, and I think I think
they are sociopaths.
They literally took everything and it was now work for it, you lazy bitches.
Yeah, right.
All right, let's move on. Okay, so before we do this one, I did want to just mention the hurricane that affected the Bahamas, Hurricane Dorian. I do want to talk about that real quick.
Yeah. We kind of we didn't even get to it last week.
Because it just fell in a time where it was on a weekend. Yeah. Anyway, but it's important that we acknowledge that.
No, for sure.
Over 50 people were killed. 2,500 people are missing.
Oh my
the whole
God,
I think it's the whole one. This whole city. I think it's called Acabo, something like that. I might be saying it wrong. But one of the main cities that was impacted, the whole city's gone, and it was crazy because like I watched this video of this woman talking about like how she said everything was uprooted, like churches, homes. She was just like, she's like the smell of death everywhere.
I saw that video. I was just the lady driving in the car.
Driving in the car. Yeah. So I'm just like, like whatever we can do to help. Like there's been people chiming in or chipping in to help and stuff. So shout out to Michael Jordan. We give him a lot of shit.
Michael B. Jordan or
no,
Michael
Jordan? Michael.
The GOAT?
Michael the GOAT.
Oh shit. Okay.
Michael the GOAT, who
what he did? He sent some money or he sent some Jordans?
He sent $1 million. He sent $1 million.
You could send some Jordans with that. Let me stop.
So here's I just had a theory.
Yeah, do your thing. Yeah, go ahead.
So here's the thing with this hurricane, and I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but I have to.
Go ahead. I'm a conspiracy theorist myself. So
because the hurricane was coming to Florida, was heading to Florida for weeks. Everyone knew it. The charts knew it, but then it changed and adjusted course last minute and was heading towards the Carolinas. And so now the people in the Carolinas were panicking. And then it adjusted course abruptly and just wiped out the Bahamas. So the Bahamas literally had no time
Addy,
to prepare.
Are you familiar with the heart machine?
No, but I am familiar with this report. Okay, go ahead.
The heart machine is a machine that uses electromagnetic fields to manipulate clouds to send weather in certain directions. Look, Kevin looking at me like I'm crazy, but it sends weather in the direction that they so choose. Okay, so they could have said, we don't want this kind of hurricane on American soil. We don't want them to destroy Florida or the Carolinas.
Well, here's another thing.
Who do we not give a fuck about? Oh, just send it to the Bahamas. We'll rebuild the tourist spots so that we can send our cruises there by the time the next summer comes around. And then the rest of the island, we won't give a fuck about. I'm just saying.
Similar to that, in that vein, what I was going to say is that there was a special report that went out in the 60s or 70s that was about the U.S.'s involvement, and it was a classified report in international population control and like efforts that would be secret, covert operations that would be taken to limit population increase for the betterment of the entire universe, right?
Right.
And so I wonder, I'm not saying that this is a thing, but I'm just saying I wonder when things like this happen that just don't make any sense like that, because it's just like, and then again, climate change just also doesn't make sense, right? So like climate change makes it so that like patterns that used to be predictable are no longer predictable because the environment has changed so much that we can't rely on the tools we have to measure it. But that was just really sad to me that this whole town got wiped out and so many people are missing and dead. So I just wanted to shout out to really shed light actually on that situation and to offer my condolences.
Yeah, man.
And acknowledgement of what a huge loss.
Yeah, big time.
All right. So moving on to Malik Yoba goes on The Breakfast Club and defends his trans attraction.
Oh, man. Did you watch the Breakfast Club interview that he did?
I watched the whole thing.
I watched the interview as well. And I was just left confused.
Okay, so all right, so let's start. So let's just to backtrack for everybody who doesn't know, Malik Yoba went out on Twitter, and Twitter is now the official place where you just make official announcements. You tweeted like you believe that Nicki Minaj is retired. I don't. I think it was a tweet. But Twitter has given people this platform. It's like the news source, right? It's like breaking news is Twitter.
Yeah.
And so Malik Yoba went on to express his frustrations with a situation that happened in the previous weeks where a young man committed suicide.
Yes, because he was in a relationship with a trans woman.
Yes, and he was getting bullied and whatnot. And I believe he was black.
Yes, a young black man. Yeah,
young black man. So that inspired him to come out and talk about his attraction to trans women, and to let people know that. And I don't think we've ever had any publicly black presenting, black cis straight identifying man come out and say that he's trans attracted. Right. So this is quite, especially someone of that kind of power and clout, even though we all know for a fact that there's a lot more than just Malik Yoba out there.
Oh yeah. So, and he named a few in this interview.
He did. He really did, which was really fun.
But the people he named were people who had gotten caught with trans women before.
Eddie Murphy? I did not know that one. Yes,
Eddie Murphy got caught with trans women. Teddy Pendergrass had got caught with a trans woman. The thing is, like, those things kind of ran its course in the news cycle and just kind of fell to the wayside.
Because that was old and they didn't have social media like that.
Right, exactly.
So now we do. So those things linger. So Malik Yoba, that was what sparked this whole thing. And now people having questions about whether he's gay or not and all of that. So he decided to go to the Breakfast Club to clarify some things.
Yes. And now I watched the interview. And I gotta admit, like, yes, black men, I guess we haven't stepped up in defense of trans women because homophobia is very real and very prevalent in our community, in our culture. I'm not going to be ashamed to say that. A lot of things that I saw in this interview, like, I feel like the LGBT plus community, the LGBTQIA community, it should probably be a little more patient when it comes to this because this is, I guess, like uncharted territory for us. Like, because one of the biggest arguments that one of the and I don't remember the name of every single person that was on the show that day, but one of the things that they talked about was saying that, like, basically kind of having to go against everything that you see with your own eyes. Like, you see a man, like, he has the male reproductive organ, but you have to wait until they tell you what to identify them as, in order for you to, like, don't just go ahead and call him a man, or just don't just go ahead and call her a woman. Like, wait till she tells you what she identifies as. And it's just like, I feel like there has to be a level of patience from the side of the LGBTQIA community, because it's like, this is brand new. Like, this is something, like, this is not, like, yes, trans people have been around for years, but as far as us, like one of the things that I took away from the interview was that someone said, like, oh, the doctor kind of forces a gender onto you. And it's just like, well, the doctor is taught in school that if you see a penis, it's a boy. If you see a vagina, it's a woman. Yeah. And so it's like, in order to kind of be politically correct with in this,
I mean, even if the doctor didn't say it, society forces it upon you.
Right, but is it forced?
I wouldn't blame the doctor.
Right, but is it forced? Because we're all taught, like, if you have a penis, you're a male. If you have a vagina, you're a female. And it's like, it's not the doctor forcing it on you. This is what we're taught. This is what the doctors are taught
socialization.
In school. Right, I guess. And it's just like, kind of, and I always say, it's like asking people to go against things that they're seeing with their own eyes. Like, because you see a man and it looks like a man, smells like a man, doesn't mean it's a man. You got to double check and make sure that they want to identify as a man. And as much as we're all trying to be respectful in this, like, you know, trying to accept all these different, like, people and all these different genders and trying to be respectful of what people want to identify as, I feel like there has to be a level of patience given from the LGBTQIA community, and trying to have people, like, understand what everybody wants to identify as and what everybody wants to be called and this, that, and the third. That's just my opinion.
So I feel like there has to be patience on all ends, right? Like,
yes,
I feel
of
like
course.
There has to be patience in understanding that, like, this is not maybe something that you will fully understand. And also, like, your full understanding is not going, your full understanding or absence of your full understanding is not going to change how this person lives their life. Right? So, like, you know, your understanding or, like, their ability to live their lives as transgender identifying people is not contingent on our ability to keep up or understand or accept it. So I think that there's just, like, this weird dance of, like, you know, being really frustrated by being marginalized, right? And being frustrated by not being heard and listened to, so that it doesn't probably feel exhausting, right? Having to constantly explain who you are, having to constantly explain your identity. I can relate to you as far as, like, there's a lot of things that I don't know, right? And I would identify as ignorant in that regard because there's a lot of things that I don't know. but I'm just certainly not willfully ignorant. I want to understand. You know, I actively seek to understand, and I think that that's where I think a lot of people just have to kind of admit A, their ignorance for things that they don't know, and B, a level of patience and understanding to accept it, or to, you know, to begin to understand how somebody lives their life. Because when you think about it, this whole idea of like people like villainizing, murdering, killing, all types of raping, assaulting, robbing people who identify as transgender, that shit has to stop. And that's to me the most fundamental issue.
Yeah, nobody.
It's a human issue. It's a humanity issue.
Yeah, nobody deserves to die because of like the kind of lifestyle that they live. Like,
it's a humanity issue. Hold on. Yeah. It's a humanity issue. And so if the next step of that humanity issue is, in order for us to understand your humanity, we need to understand where you're coming from. There needs to be a level of patience in that understanding on both ends. I understand the frustration and the lack of patience on the end of a lot of transgender people probably feeling like having to explain why they shouldn't die can be really frustrating. And so then breaking down like terms to which they identify that are important to them and important to how they see themselves, you know, is really important to them because people die from it, right? Yeah. And I think like I just see a place where, you know, with time that we get to a better place of kind of knowing how to interact with one another in a healthy and productive way, so that people aren't going out and killing themselves or murdering each other. And also so that stigma could really start to be lifted. And I really appreciate that interview happening on, you know, this Black platform, which is that has been historically ignorant in their
and homophobic at times.
So I appreciated that all coming through.
No, yeah, for sure, man. And the thing is too, like you like I said, like I feel like there needs to be patience on both sides, from like your patience from like the heterosexual male. Like you're not gonna understand like off rip, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to have the patience to kind of sit there and try to understand. And like you said, like just because a person chooses to identify as this gender or that gender doesn't mean they deserve to die, right? So it's like a humanity issue. Like I'm not condoning murder of anybody for no reason whatsoever, right? So that is most definitely wrong. It's the same way as Black men, that you want to, like, just because I'm a Black man with dreads or whatever the case is, like doesn't mean I deserve to die at a routine police stop.
Exactly.
Like it's essentially the same thing.
Exactly. And like I guess the other layer of it with transgender people is like you said, that initial confusion, right? As far as like, how do I identify you, right? Like how do I identify you in a way that makes me feel comfortable based on how I've been socialized and programmed to understand the world around me. Yeah. And I think especially when you think about like all of the forces that go into shaping people's identity, when you think about particularly with Black men, like straight Black men, and what goes into reinforcing that straight identity, like that shit is like from birth, like you do shit in you smile too much, you're gay, right? Like you laugh too long, you're gay. You wanna, you know, I don't know, find some lipstick on the table, you put on your now you're gay. And even if you were gay, why is that the worst thing in the world, right? But that's
why are you putting lipstick?
But why is that the worst thing in the world, right?
Right,
like,
right. You're a kid, it's not the worst thing in the world.
You're a kid, so the problem
as a kid, I definitely put my mom's heels on.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not even gonna front. Like,
okay, you're curious. Like
I say, yo, these shoes look different from. These shoes look different from my shit. Let me see how these fit. I almost broke my foot, but
gay is like is discussed as cancer in our community,
right?
And it's extremely toxic, and that's like the level from which we're understanding things. And when you think about it, like transgender people, like this whole idea that transgender people, gay people, like I'm sure that there are people who may choose to do this. I don't know why someone would choose to be gay in a world where like people are getting murdered for it, or why you would choose to be transgender in a world where people are getting murdered for it. But if people want to believe that all of these people are just choosing this, despite all of the repercussions.
I don't know if you choose. Like I honestly think that you're born that way. Like
I'm like, why the hell would I put myself through this?
There's no way you're gonna see what gay people and transgender people are going through and say, yeah, I want to be part of that club.
No way. And I know, and I have a lot of gay friends, and I'm not even trying to diminish the stories of people who that was their choice. Maybe that was. Yeah. But by and large, from the people that I know, that was not a choice. And they are like, and the friends that I have are like, you think like, you don't think I tried to like pussy? Like that's what my gay male friends are like. You don't think I tried? Like I had several girlfriends. I tried. I did what I could. but that wasn't who I was. So like, these are people who are just trying to live their lives like everybody else. We're all just trying to make it. Yeah. We're all just trying to survive in the best way that we know. So my biggest thing is like, at the very fucking least, we got to stop killing each other. Yeah. The very fucking least. And now, giving space for this man to identify as trans attracted, I think that was confusing for people, right? Like, how could you identify as straight? Yeah.
And the motive behind Malik Yoba coming out as trans attracted is very much into question, because he's recently accused of paying a 13-year-old transgender woman for sex. Mm-hmm. So a lot, and people don't believe that, like, this is just him really trying to advocate for trans people, but more so him trying to get in front of a scandal that's about to come out. Now, Malik Yoba continues to face backlash after publicly announcing his attraction to trans women. Days after he announced his attraction on social media, a trans woman, Mariah Ebony, claimed that the last OG actor paid her for sex when she was 13 years old. Mm-hmm. Following Ebony's accusation, Yoba released a freestyle rap on social media proclaiming his innocence. That's quite an odd way.
Yikes.
I'm sorry.
And honestly, like,
he dropped a free
like, no.
He dropped a freestyle saying, man, that nigga did that shit. And
I didn't do it. No, I didn't do it.
Like, come on now.
But nah, I didn't do it.
What happened to going to your PR firm? You know what I'm saying? And coming up.
We gotta play that song after this. We gotta play that song. I'm curious now.
I didn't even know it.
I did not know that either.
He dropped, man, that motherfucker guilty.
But my question though, 13 years old, like, honestly, I looked old for 13. But I didn't look older than 18. So for me, the threshold for like, because 13.
I don't care what your body looks like. You could look at a girl's face and be like, yo, you are not over XYZ age.
13. Huh. Okay, well, he was dropped from Phi Beta Sigma.
Ain't nobody in that fraternity anyway. if you know anything about the Divine Nine, but
he was removed from the leadership role,
right.
As a mentor to preteen and teen age males, so that he was removed. And at first I thought it was just on some homophobic shit, because you know how straight black men be.
But it looks like
there's more layers to it. Because when I first got the story, I thought it was just simply, and I'm sure that like that doesn't help, but it looks like it's more so directed as far as
they must know something,
the alleged issue. Okay, well that happened. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, man. But that conversation on the Breakfast Club left me very like confused, and like it's, I don't know, man. Let's just say we all still have a lot of learning to do when it comes to accepting trans people into our society, into our circles, or whatever the case is. And
wasn't this the first time? I mean, I don't want to say it's the first time, but on like such a major urban network that, to have that kind of conversation.
Yeah, and I will give, because I had at first when I initially last night when I was making the lineup and everything, I had him in the shout outs, because it is a big deal for a black man to come out and say, I'm attracted to trans women. Okay, because like nobody wants to admit that. Yeah, but we've all seen a trans woman that we were like, God damn, she fine this way. She was born a man. What?
Thank you.
Like, if you watch the episode of Pose, you done got fooled. Okay.
Yeah. Like, come on, it's life, right? Like,
right. Like some people go to better doctors than others, and my friend also brought
up a really good point. She was like, because some trans people have both, titties and a penis, and that could be really exciting.
For who?
For some. That could be exciting. They can get both.
Let's move on before I lose the show.
It could be. I mean, honestly, like, men don't have good titties, so shit.
Yeah, man boobs aren't the nicest looking.
Like, men would look. I don't know if you guys look better with titties. I'm not trans attracted, but you know, I can see it. There's a huge case for it for me.
All right. All right.
You can think about all the joy. Come on. Honestly, I get it. So I get it. And look, I don't mean to.
I love titties myself.
Yeah. Okay? Also, I don't mean to suggest that all trans people have those combination of things. I'm just saying.
Right.
That's just one possibility.
All right. So
that possibility sounds exciting to me.
So I guess we won't spend too much time on this because Addy doesn't seem to believe it. But Nicki Minaj announced that she was retiring last week. Now, Nicki Minaj retiring, and I got into a Facebook argument. I try not to do this because I try not to.
I saw the argument.
Yeah, I try not to give my opinion for free.
The person lost.
Yeah, of course the person lost. Yeah. But with that being said, Nicki Minaj is a whole legend out here. If she does, in fact, never drop another note of music ever again, she is a whole legend out here because she ran from the female's perspective. She ran the game. She ran hip hop from the female side for 10 years.
10 years.
And you can't say that there was no other women out because Iggy Azalea tried to come out.
Stop.
Azalea Banks tried to drop records.
She did. She tried it.
There was other women that tried to drop records, but Nicki Minaj was so dominant that we didn't hear about her. Okay? She has become the all-time rewarded female artist. Her album, The Pink Print, sold 400 million units. Damn. To date.
What?
To date.
400 million?
4 million.
I was going to say, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot. But no, 4 million units to date.
Okay.
Right?
And that's a big deal.
Yeah, that is a huge deal.
Yeah.
And suddenly, like when Nicki Minaj came out, when Cardi B came out, suddenly nobody liked Nicki Minaj anymore. And I didn't understand why. And it's because in the hip hop industry, between the bloggers and the media and the radio stations, they make it so that you have to pick one woman to like at a time.
Right. I think it didn't help because, Nicki's very sensitive. So her reactions to things can be really explosive in ways that I feel like kind of rub people the wrong way.
Yes.
So I think that's part of it. But I do think that it's also kind of fucked up because I feel like she's a human being. Right. And I feel like, and even I've criticized her reactions to things. But when I thought about it, I'm like, I started to tread a little bit lightly because I was kind of like more so that I can't imagine what she's going through in the industry. Like all these dudes like undermining her at every step of the way.
Right.
Having to feel like you have to defend yourself despite all the stuff you can prove it with the paper, on paper that you've done, still having to feel like it's day one, having to prove yourself as a woman. So I think like for me, that kind of led me to like fall back in terms of like how she reacts. I can't really dictate that. I feel like as a woman, especially as a Black woman, like shit is hard and it's not easy to like maintain sanity, especially in that kind of toxic ass environment.
No.
So I agree, she's a legend. Hands down.
No, she's absolutely a legend. Mm-hmm. You want to jump into our next topic here?
Yes. Oh, there was a lot of these posts actually. So this one's called Top 7 Toxic Partners. Is this the men or the female version?
Well, the website I found.
Okay, you got both?
You know me, I got both. You know what I'm saying? I got the guys, because I'm a journalist.
Where is it?
I do my research. Which one you want to go over first?
All right, let's look at the boys first.
Well, okay. We're going to do that.
Let's look at the boys. 'Cause
all right, so here they all are. You just click on one. Okay, it's asking us to be logged in. All right,
just go to the girl site to go get it.
All right, but Addy, she identified with 2 of these, right?
No, it was if I had a gun to my head, these would be the ones I would identify with. But no, I'm not toxic in any form or fashion. Wonderful girl. Who
I don't know, Addy, you might
and reliable.
You might be a little toxic. I don't know.
I don't think so. I think I'm pretty. No, I think we all have our toxic traits or whatever. But
no, of course.
I don't think I have too many. Hold on, I'm gonna find this post because you didn't do a good job.
So there was different ones for the guy, right? They had the good guy. I found a post. I got it on Facebook here. So the good guy posts every accomplishment, does volunteer work just to post on social media, entitled as fuck, poor communication skills. Females never like good guys anymore. Guilt trippers.
This was one of the ones that triggered me.
And I gotta say, so being a good guy puts you on a list of being toxic?
Yes, because remember how the first time I came on your show, we were talking about guys who identify as good. Like one of the worst things I can see when a man identifies as a good man, it is a very bad sign.
First of all,
it is a very bad sign.
First of all, I'm a good guy.
No. If you identify as a good guy, you are sneaky. You are 100% sneaky, yes. Because an actual good man would never identify as a good guy. He would allow his actions to show it, and he would allow you to determine that. Likewise, for a good woman, someone who identifies as a good woman is a pick-me.
Wow.
Which is another toxic trait. Meaning
I gotta disagree with that.
If you identify as a good woman, you are a pick-me. If you identify as a good man, you are sneaky and you are probably cheating.
Wow.
All right. Other toxic traits, of course, is the player. Okay, the inconsistent guy, though, I have one of those. I've had one of those before.
I don't appreciate the picture they have for the Netflix and chill guy, first of all. Okay?
Oh.
He a little too muscular for my liking. He all poking out, he all popping out of the picture and stuff.
I think you like him. That's what's going on.
Well.
All right. Anyway, the no initiative guy was really frustrating for me too. Because when I'm gonna see you, I hate that. Like, don't be hitting me up when I'm gonna see you. No actual conversation before, none after, no actual plan. Right? So like, you're just when I'm gonna see you, nigga.
What you trying to do, girl? Come on now.
This is the nigga who got his house burned down by that who got his house burned on fire. Remember when that girl? He was texting her, "Yo, come over." In the middle of the night, and she went and burned his house down because he didn't pick up the phone. That's the when I'm gonna see you type of nigga.
Hey, look,
calls
man.
and texts often, but never plans anything. Has to feel your vibe first before taking you out. Probably has a girlfriend on the low. You be playing. So yeah, no. Anyway, now we can move on to the girls.
I don't have the post with the girls.
Okay, I'm gonna find it. So
I tell you, there's way more toxic women out there than these guys.
That's not true.
Well,
that's not true.
As a man, I'm gonna defend my brothers. So
all right. So we have the insecure girl. Zooms in on all the girls in your pictures. Automatically hates every girl around you. Kevin is breathing, exhaling real hard. Pressed about those whose pics you're liking. May go through your phone. I don't get along with girls type of girl. Ooh, girls like that. I can't. I'm a girl's girl. The curve queen, great personality and fun as fuck. No one ever knows who they've dated. Barely replies to text. Always busy when you want to hang out.
Are you reading like your personal profile?
He said he said he identifies me as a curve queen. I'm like,
you're a curve queen and you're the heartless one?
That's mean.
Look,
the heartless girl only hits you up at night. Acts like the homie when y'all are out. Known to pop up with a new man if things get shaky. Emotional as fuck, but that's none of your business. 200 unread texts. Okay, sure. I don't read all of my text messages, but
you don't have to text Addy 10 times just to schedule a time to call her and plan this show out.
That's not true. I'm pretty good with your. No, I've dropped the ball sometimes, but I would say I'm at an 80%.
I've had to work my way into like Addy's text back rotation.
Yeah, you have to earn that.
I had to work my way into it. I'm not even trying to sleep with her. That's the crazy thing.
Oh yeah, no, it's across the board. Family, friends, everybody.
Everybody's on the wait list for Addy's text messages.
The pick me is the one who can make 5 different Alfredos.
That's the look.
I don't want to know. I don't know how y'all wear all that makeup type girl. Kind of like the insecure girl. Homebody.
Look, that's
always judging other women. Agrees with everything you say.
Those are the girls that be married first. I'll tell you that much. Okay.
And married and left real quick too.
No, ain't nobody leaving.
Well, they may not be left, but they'll definitely be disrespected mercilessly. Mercilessly.
Hey, look, man. Look. Hey, look.
Have you ever had a crazy girl? Huge B. Simone fan. Known to pop up. Wear sneakers often.
If you've been with a girl, you've had a crazy girl, okay?
Wear sneakers often. May destroy your property. Usually generous as fuck.
Burn your house down.
I'm crazy about mine. Type of girl. Knows the password to your phone.
I've definitely had that.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Oh, then there's the user. Knows a guy for literally everything. Never waits in lines. Always walks right into every function. Always on vacation, but never shows who she's with. Quote unquote, I hate broke niggas. This is like a lot of the Instagram girls.
Yeah.
A lot of them. One of my friends, she got flued out to Hawaii. Never had sex with this man in her life. Got flued out to Hawaii.
Look, I ain't even gonna say what I had on mine. I'm not gonna say it.
So I'm like, she's doing it right. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here worried about feelings.
There you go. You over here not getting flued out. Anyway, that's it for our trending topics. We're gonna jump into blow the whistle right now. We're gonna try to fly through these.
Yeah, let's just.
Yeah, because we got Keys Van Go in the building. We gotta get him on for show.
Yes.
But I want to start off with our Don't At Me. Okay, And
this feels like an attack, but go ahead.
Well, look, I try not to single anybody out in my don't at me's, but for this one, I absolutely have to. Ladies, I don't want to taste your food.
Yes, you do.
I don't care that you think it's the most delicious thing that you've ever had in your life. If I tell you I don't want to try it, don't force me. Don't try to convince me, and don't coerce me into trying it, because I don't want it. You know why I don't want it? Because I don't want to share my food with you. Okay? And if you offer me some of your food and I take some, then that gives you carte blanche to try my food whenever you feel like it's necessary. So I don't want to try your food. I don't want to try the delicious chicken that you've had, the most delicious chicken that you've had in your life. I don't want to try the most greatest chips that you've ever had, Addy. I don't want to try it. Okay? I will take your word for it. If you say it's delicious, then fine.
But you won't take
my delicious. Word for it. But don't force me to try it. You know why? Because when I'm eating and I get my food for a serving size of 1, I don't want you to reach over into my plate. So please, ladies, if you're one of those women that say you have to try this, all right? If you're one of those women that reach over without asking permission with her fork or spoon into her man's plate, this don't at me is for you. You are an asshole and a jerk. I said what I said. Now don't at me.
Now here's my thing. I'm forcing you to eat the food because I will eat your food when you have it. So this is all about reciprocity.
No, don't give me the food because I don't want you to have any of my food.
No, I want your food. So, no, I want your food irregardless.
I don't care if you have
what you do.
You could be having the most delicious looking piece of steak I've ever seen in my life. I will not ask you for some because I know when I'm having the most delicious piece of chicken that you might have ever seen in your life.
Well, God bless you.
You're gonna ask me for something.
God bless you and your self-control.
Every right to say no.
But the rest of us with hormones and periods and all that, we can't control that.
Oh yeah, sure.
It has nothing to do with what we want. It's what the devil in our minds and our bodies that are working hard to prepare for a child want.
Right, right.
All right. So quickly, I just want to go through. I'm gonna go from the bottom real quick. Felicity Huffman, you know, the shorty who got her kid, scammed her kid through college. She gets 1 month of prison time. 1 month, so she's chilling.
I mean, she didn't kill nobody.
So but she invested a shitload of money.
She didn't kill nobody.
It was, it was fraud. And and literally, there's a black woman who like changed her address to get her kid into a good school. Who who was doing some time, like some real time.
I mean, it's a little bit of fraud. A little bit of fraud.
So she was the judicial system that. Allows.
What did you think was going to happen to a white woman?
I understand,
but they
had the opportunity to make an example
because
it was so high profile. But they were like, "Fuck
But she got a movie coming out in February. She got a movie coming out in February, so they couldn't do that to her. You know what I'm saying?
Payola.
Right? People who posted and made 9/11 jokes. Listen, there's not too many things that I get sensitive about, I guess, if you even want to call it that, but 9/11 was a very traumatic day in my life, as it was in a lot of people who lived in New York City and any of the 5 boroughs' lives. I know people that live in Harlem and the Bronx, they saw things from their window, from their school's window, buildings burning, the building collapses. A lot of people whose parents suffered from cancer years later. Like, I understand, like, you want to joke about things and you want to make light of certain situations, but to kind of share these memes of people who, a lot of people, these memes were probably created by people that don't live in the 5 boroughs.
Yeah.
Like, that was a very traumatic day. And for you to just think like it's a joke or it's something that is let me share this because it's funny. Like, no one thinks it's funny and it's just insensitive, and not everything has to be a joke. Like, sometimes, like, I know some people might want to joke about everything, but look, if you don't care as much as the next guy, sometimes it's best to just stay quiet. And I think that's what some of those people needed to do in this situation.
I agree. Did you see, because I saw that there was this one post with the woman who was covered in like dust and debris? And
no, I didn't see that one.
Like Ayanna something.
Yeah.
But she was 28 years old and worked at Bank of America at the time. And they captured that image back on 9/11 on that day. And it became an iconic image. But I saw a story or like a follow-up story about her life. She actually passed away at 42, and she never received any assistance or help. She died of cancer that was directly related to,
of course, for all the dust and the asbestos. Like
suffered a mental breakdown. Couldn't keep a job. Like all from this tragedy. So this is a real tragedy. So shame on everybody who feels like that's
you could be a social media comedian all you want, like. And mind you, it wasn't none of the good social media comedians that was joking about this. It was all the fucking broke ass, nobody ass motherfuckers that thought, oh, let me share a 9/11 joke. Like, it's not funny. Like, this was a very traumatic experience for, like, I was 11 years old at the time. Like, it was traumatic for me. Like, I remember, like, just being nervous and anxious that entire day.
Yep.
After we were attacked. Like, it's not funny. It's not a joking matter. And as a New Yorker, like, you shouldn't find it funny. Like, people lost, thousands of people lost their lives. People lost their parents. So, like, it's just not something to be joking about. But with that being said, I just want to real quick. So the NCAA, California decided to pass a bill that would allow the players to get paid. That was on shout outs. But I want to blow the whistle on the NCAA because they decided that, hey, paying players for their likeness is unconstitutional and unfair, which is a total load of crock.
Unconstitutional.
Right, exactly. Unconstitutional, right.
The whole establishment's unconstitutional.
Pretty much.
Slavery is still happening there.
Yeah. So NCAA, you definitely played yourself. These players are going to get paid whether you like it or not. And now that California is going to pass this bill, the best thing that you could do is allow every single college athlete all over the country to make money off their likeness. Otherwise, you're going to lose every single one of them.
Yep.
And that's pretty much that.
Yep.
I guess that's it for Blow the Whistle.
Show is.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to play a quick song. My guy Keys Van Goes in the building.
Hey.
He's here. We're going to chop it up with him. Can't wait to get into that. Do not go anywhere. Keys Van Goes in the building. It's Ben Talks with the best in the world, Ben Lewis and Addy the Baddie.
Hi.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.